I died choking on my own blood. The taste of cheap diner coffee mixing with a metallic tang of betrayal. As my brother's face loomed over me like a storm cloud, his eyes empty of remorse. The bullet he fired, hired gun, technically, but his money, his orders, ripped through my chest in that dingy Brooklyn alley. All because I dared to dig too deep into the family fortune he'd stolen from under my nose. But death isn't the end, it's a goddamn reset button. And when I gasped awake in my old twin bed, the faded posters of indie bands peeling from the walls of our childhood home in Queens, I knew, this time, I'd bury him before he could bury me. It was the summer of 2018, or at least that's when I woke up, sweat-soaked sheets clinging to my skin like a bad memory. My heart hammering so hard I thought it'd crack a rib. I was 25 again, staring at the cracked ceiling of the room I'd shared with my brother, Ethan, until he bailed for bigger things right after Mom and Dad's crash. The alarm clock blinked 7:15 a.m. The same godforsaken time I'd set it for that fateful morning 3 years from now. The one leading to my shift at the Greasy Spoon where everything unraveled. But this was before. Before the lies solidified. Before the mockery turned lethal. I bolted upright, my hands flying to my chest, smooth, unscarred skin under the threadbare tank top. No exit wound. No sirens wailing in the distance. Just the distant rumble of the 7 train and the faint scent of Dad's old aftershave lingering in the air like a ghost. "Holy shit," I whispered, my voice cracking. Finley Harper, dead at 28. Waitress with a side of shattered dreams. Now rebooted to fix her fuck-ups. Or his. Ethan's face flashed in my mind, not the polished Wall Street shark he'd become, but the lanky kid who'd promised we'd conquer New York together. Lies. All of it. I stumbled to the mirror, expecting some spectral glow or ethereal bullshit, but nope, just me, wide-eyed and freckled, the same messy auburn ponytail I'd rocked since high school. The scar from that bar fight in college? Gone. The faint lines of exhaustion from double shifts? Erased.
重生.
They call it in those web novels I devoured during slow nights at the diner. Rebirth. Second chance. But this wasn't some feel-good rom-com reboot. This was raw, ugly American grit, survival of the savviest, where family ties snap like cheap guitar strings under pressure. Downstairs, the kitchen was a time capsule. Mom's recipe cards pinned to the fridge. Dad's coffee mug still in the dish rack from that last morning in 2015. They'd gone down in a pile-up on the I-95. Slick roads and a trucker on his phone, texting about fantasy football scores. The cops said. Ethan and I got the call together, huddled on this very linoleum floor, him holding my hand like he gave a damn. 6 months later, he was off to Columbia Law on a scholarship while I scraped by at community college, waitressing to cover the bills he swore he'd help with.
Fun.
"You're the strong one," he'd say, clapping my shoulder before vanishing into the city lights. Strong enough to carry his dead weight. Apparently. I poured myself a mug of stale Folgers, hands shaking as the memories flooded back. In my first life, God, that sounds insane. I'd clawed my way through it all, piecing together the puzzle too late. Dad hadn't just been a mid-level accountant at that firm in Midtown. He'd been squirreling away millions in offshore accounts. A nest egg from whistleblowing on corporate fraud. "For you kids," he'd whispered to me once, drunk on bourbon after a long day, showing me a cryptic email on his laptop. "When the time comes, it'll set you free." But the crash wiped the servers. Or so we thought. Ethan found out first, hacked the backups, siphoned it all into his own trusts while I drowned in tip jars and eviction notices. He'd show up at the diner sometimes, that smug grin splitting his face, Armani's suit reeking of success. "Finley, still slinging hash browns? Thought you'd have your big break by now." The other waitresses would titter, thinking it was brotherly ribbing. But I saw the venom, the way his eyes flicked to my name tag like I was a joke. One night, after closing, he cornered me in the parking lot. "Sign this," he'd said, shoving papers under my nose. A quitclaim deed to the house, forged signatures blurring our parents' names. "It's for the best,
sis.
You're not cut out for this empire." I signed, blind trust and blood, and woke up homeless the next week. That's when the digging started. Late nights in the public library, poring over probate records, cross-referencing Dad's old emails I'd salvaged from a USB drive. The fortune, $47 million, laundered clean through shell companies. Ethan's fingerprints everywhere, his law firm buddies drafting the diversions, his girlfriend, now wife, cooking the books. When I confronted him at his sleek Tribeca loft, glass walls overlooking the Hudson, he laughed. "You? Inheriting? You're the diner girl.
Fun.
Stick to what you know." Then the threats, anonymous calls, slashed tires. And finally, that alley. The gunman, a lowlife from Ethan's poker nights, paid off with a fraction of what he'd stolen from me.
But now?
I had the playbook. Every email thread, every backroom deal, I remembered it like yesterday's shift. My phone buzzed on the counter, a text from Ethan. "Hey sis, in town this weekend. Dinner at La Bernardine? Miss you." The old me would have melted, desperate for scraps of family. "New me?" I smirked, thumbs flying. "Sounds great. Got big news." Let him squirm. I spent the morning in a frenzy, mapping it out on a legal pad, yellow, like Dad's old ones. Step 1. Secure the house. No signing shit away this time. Step 2. Infiltrate his world. Community college was out. I'd aim higher. Leverage the second chance. There was that scholarship Dad had whispered about, buried in the same accounts Ethan raided. If I moved fast, I could claim it before he did. Step 3. The slow burn. Make him doubt. Make him rage. Make him slip. Revenge wasn't a sprint. It was a marathon through Manhattan traffic, horns blaring, tempers flaring. By noon, I was dressed in my least worn jeans and a blouse Mom loved, simple, but sharp, and heading to the bank. The branch manager, a balding guy named Herb, who'd processed Mom's life insurance payout back then, recognized me instantly. "Finley Harper? My God. You look just like your mother." I flashed a smile, all teeth and no warmth. "Herb, I need access to Dad's safety deposit box. The one with the family trusts." He blinked, fumbling for keys. In my first go-round, Ethan had gotten there first, emptying it of the USB drive with the account keys. This time, it was still there, dusty and untouched, the drive humming to life on my phone as I plugged it in outside. Passwords, child's play, Dad's birthday, Mom's maiden name, our old dog's moniker. Files bloomed, spreadsheets of Cayman Islands wires, LLC formations, even a letter to me, "Finley, if I'm gone, this is yours."
Ethan.
He's ambitious. Protect it. Tears stung, but I blinked them back. Ambition? More like greed, wrapped in Ivy League polish. The drive home was a blur of subway cars and street vendors hawking knockoff Rolexes. Queens hadn't changed, brownstones sagging under the weight of dreams deferred, bodegas buzzing with lotto tickets and lotto losers. Our house, a narrow two-story on a block of similar relics, felt like a fortress now. I changed the locks on the way in, the locksmith giving me a nod like he knew the score. Family drama? You have no idea. That night, Ethan arrived early, his Tesla purring to a stop like a predator. He looked younger than I remembered, 31, all sharp jawline and designer stubble. The kind of guy who networked at rooftop bars while the rest of us hustled below.
Huh.
He enveloped me in a hug, cologne sharp as his lies. Place looks the same. You holding up? His eyes scanned the kitchen, calculating square footage. I bet. We sat at the scarred oak table, takeout Thai steaming between us, his treat. Always. So, big news. He leaned back. Casual. But I caught the flicker, anticipation. Or was it wariness? In the future he'd scripted, I was broke and begging by now. I sipped my singa, letting the silence stretch. Sold the diner script to Netflix, I lied. Smooth as silk. His fork paused midair. Wait. What? The one about the whistleblower waitress. I'd scribbled that in a notebook once. Venting steam. He knew it was fiction, knew because he'd buried the real story.
Yeah.
7 figures. Ethan. Closing next week. His laugh was forced. A bark that didn't reach his eyes. Bullshit. You're pulling my leg. I slid my phone across. A forged email from a producer contact I'd mocked up in 10 minutes, headers lifted from real deals I'd researched in the library. His face paled. Just a shade. But enough. Holy shit.
Fun. That's
huge. Pride?
nah.
That was calculation. Wheels turning on how to skim his cut. We talked late. Him probing for details. Me doling them out like breadcrumbs. By midnight, he was gone, promising to hook me up with my guy at CAA. Hook me up to dry. More like. I locked the door behind him, leaning against it with a grin that felt feral. Game on, brother. This time, the waitress serves revenge. Piping hot. The weeks blurred into a calculated frenzy. Each day a brick in the wall I'd build around Ethan's empire. First, the scholarship, Dad's hidden gem. A full ride to NYU Law disguised as a merit award for underrepresented voices in finance. I'd aced the essay in my head 100 times, a tale of loss and grit. Mom's immigrant roots from Ireland woven in for that emotional punch. Submitted online at 2 a.m. Hard in my throat. And by Friday, the acceptance email pinged. Congratulations. Finley Harper. Welcome to the class of 2019. Ethan's text lit up my phone like fireworks. Law school? You? That's my turf. Sis. Followed by an offer to crash on my couch in the city. I replied with emojis, hearts and fists, keeping it light. But inside, I was mapping his downfall. NYU meant access, libraries stacked with legal tomes, profs who'd audited his firm's shady clients, classmates with connections that could unravel threads he'd knotted tight. Classes started in a haze of autumn leaves crunching underfoot on Washington Square, the arch looming like a gateway to the revenge I'd craved. I threw myself in, con law debates where I'd argue whistleblower protections with a fire that silenced the room, tax seminars where I'd casually drop offshore red flags like grenades. One prof.
Dr.
Elena Vasquez. pulled me aside after a lecture on fiduciary duties. Harper, you've got a nose for bullshit. Ever think about corporate litigation? Her eyes twinkled. She didn't know the half of it. Meanwhile, Ethan was climbing. I'd stalk his LinkedIn, junior associate at Hargrove and Stein. The white shoe firm Dad had blown the whistle on. Promotions came fast. Partner track by 27. Whispers of mergers that smelled like money laundering. His Instagram was a highlight reel, yacht parties in the Hamptons. Arm candy named Victoria with a trust fund smile. But I remember the cracks, the late-night calls to shady accountants, the business trips to the Caymans that left him reeking of rum and regret. I played the part of the supportive sis. Dinners at his loft, where floor-to-ceiling windows framed the glittering Hudson like a trophy. Tell me everything, I'd say, nursing a gin and tonic while he paced, venting about cutthroat partners and legacy bullshit. Legacy. That's what he called it. Dad's fortune, repackaged as his birthright. One night, buzzed on Cabernet, he let slip. You know Pop had secrets.
Fun.
But I protected us. That crash? It could have tanked everything. Protected us? He'd buried the evidence. Funneled the funds to pad his 401k. That's when I started the file, digital fortress on an encrypted drive, labeled family recipes for irony. Screenshots of his emails, timestamps from the USB, even a burner phone recording of that slip. But evidence alone wasn't enough. Revenge needed teeth. Enter Marcus Hale, my lab partner in ethics seminar, a hacker kid from Bed-Stuy with a grudge against Wall Street after his pops got foreclosed by Hargrove. You want dirt on your bro? He asked over ramen in the village, chopsticks pausing. I nodded, sliding him a thumb drive. Make it untraceable. Marcus delivered in drips. Ethan's browser history laced with dark web forums. Wire transfers to a shell in Panama. Even photos of him schmoozing the gunman, Ricky the Fixer Malone, at a poker den in Atlantic City. This guy's dirty as the Gowanus, Marcus grinned. I paid him in cash for my first script, Advance, a modest wire from a freelance gig I'd hustled, writing ghost articles for finance blogs. Irony, penning exposés on fraud while plotting one of my own. Thanksgiving hit like a freight train. Ethan insisted on hosting neutral ground, he said, but his place screamed conquest, minimalist furniture, abstract art that cost more than our childhood home. Victoria fluttered around, all blonde extensions and Lululemon, cooing about family bonding. I brought pie, Mom's recipe, and watched Ethan's jaw tighten when I mentioned my 4.0 GPA.
Law. Huh.
Careful.
Fun.
It's a shark tank. His eyes said more. Stay in the shallow end. Minnow. Dinner devolved into the usual, Victoria prattling about her Pilates instructor, Ethan dominating with tales of billion-dollar deals. But I steered it, casual as a summer breeze. Speaking of deals, remember Dad's old firm? Saw Hargrove in the news, some SEC probe. Victoria tittered, Ethan froze. Fork scraping porcelain. Old news. They cleared it.
Lie.
I'd seen the filings, anonymous tips I'd planted through Marcus. Breadcrumbs leading to Ethan's doorstep. Later, as Victoria cleared plates, he cornered me by the wine rack. What the hell?
Fun?
You stirring shit. His breath was hot. Wine sour. I met his gaze.
Steady.
Just curious.
Bro.
Family sticks together. Right? He backed off, laughing it away. But I saw the fracture, doubt creeping in like ivy on a brownstone. Winter semester ramped up the tension. I landed an internship at the DA's office, cold calling witnesses for white-collar cases. One file mirrored Dad's: embezzlement via trusts. A widow left penniless. Sounds familiar, I muttered to my supervisor, who raised a brow. You got a personal stake, Harper. Always, I said, filing it away for ammo. Ethan's calls grew erratic, late nights, voice edged with static.
Fun.
You hear from any lawyers? Weird audits popping up. I'd feign concern. Maybe it's nothing. Want me to look? He declined. Every time. Paranoia his new cologne. Victoria texted me once. Tipsy, your bro's losing it. What's up? I replied with a shrug emoji. Planting seeds. By spring, the Fortune script deal closed. A fabricated press release Marcus leaked to Variety. My name splashed across trades. Ethan showed up unannounced at my dorm, eyes wild. 7 figures?
Spill. Fun.
Investments? I can triple it. Greed. Naked and American. The kind that built empires and burned them down. I let him pitch, nodding along, while my phone recorded every word. Trust me, he said, echoing Dad's letter. I almost pitied him, the boy who'd shared comic books with me, now a puppet of his own ambition. But pity's a luxury for the living. That night, I emailed Dr. Vasquez, Professor, got a lead on Hargrove fraud. Off the record? Her reply was swift. My office. Tomorrow. The hook was set. Ethan reeled himself in, oblivious, as I cast the line. Summer break brought the heat, literal and figurative. Queens baked under a relentless sun, the kind that turned asphalt to tar and tempers to tinder. I sublet a cheap walk-up in Williamsburg, close enough to the city to haunt Ethan's periphery. Freelance writing paid the rent, but the real work was shadows, tailing him to meetings, snapping pics of briefcases swapped in alleys, logs of his Cayman's flights. One sweltering July evening, I crashed his firm happy hour at some rooftop in Fide, black dress, heels borrowed from a classmate, blending in like smoke. He spotted me across the crowd, surprise melting to charm.
Fun.
Slumming it with the suits. The partners chuckled, I smiled. Venom sweet. Learning the ropes. Heard about that Panama thing, exciting. His face drained, cocktail glass trembling. What Panama thing? You know, the shells. Dad would have loved it. I clinked his glass, walking away to laughter that wasn't his. That planted the bomb. Whispers spread, colleagues side-eyeing him, clients pulling back. Marcus hacked deeper. Emails to Ricky Malone, coded as pest control. The gunman for my death. Hired not just for the hit, but for loose ends like me. Rage boiled. But I channeled it, filed an anonymous tip to the IRS, routing through a VPN in Toronto. Audits hit like thunder. Hargrove's books frozen. Ethan's name flagged. He called at 3 a.m., voice shattered.
Fun.
It's bad. They're coming for everything. Help me. Tears? Maybe. But I remembered the alley, the rain mixing with my blood. What do you need?
Money.
A loan. From your script deal.
Ah.
There it was, the ask. I hesitated. Dramatic.
I can't.
It's tied up.
Lie.
The deal was smoke. But the real fortune? I'd quietly transferred a sliver, enough for tuition. A safety net from Dad's untouched backups. Ethan's half was evaporating, audits gnawing like rats. We met at dawn in Central Park, joggers blurring past like ghosts. He looked wrecked, stubble graying, suit rumpled. This is you, isn't it? The tips, the leaks. Denial first, then fury. After everything I did for us, I laughed.
Bitter.
You stole from ghosts.
Ethan.
Mom and Dad's blood money. And you left me to drown. He lunged, grabbing my arm, hard enough to bruise. You were nothing. Diner trash.
Fun.
I built this. A jogger glanced over. I twisted free, voice low. And I'll tear it down. He slunk away, defeated. But I knew better, scorpion sting when cornered. Back home, I prepped, revisions, asset shields, even a concealed carry permit, New York be damned. The twist was coming. I could feel it humming like the subway below. Fall semester hit like a Category 5. Winds of change whipping through my life, while Ethan's world crumbled brick by brick. NYU's halls echoed with my footsteps, confident now, laced with purpose, while his were haunted by summons and subpoenas. I'd catch glimpses on the news. Hargrove and Stein under federal scrutiny for offshore ties, a ticker scrolling under talking heads in power suits. Anonymous sources. My ass. That was Marcus's poetry, scripted from my prompts. Classes were my armor. Torts became therapy, dissecting negligence like I dissect Ethan's lies. One debate. I eviscerated a classmate's defense of fiduciary breaches. Blood doesn't buy loyalty, it demands it. The room applauded. Dr. Vasquez pulled me into her research group on corporate malfeasance. You're a natural. Harper. Publish with me? Hell yes. Our first paper, on whistleblower protections in family trusts, danced dangerously close to Dad's case. Citations veiled but pointed. Ethan's descent was deliciously slow. Victoria bailed first. Instagram scrubbed of him. Stories of empowerment retreats in Bali. His text to me shifted, from demands to pleas.
Fun. Please.
Coffee? I met him at a dive in Hell's Kitchen. Fluorescent lights buzzing like accusations. He was thinner, eyes hollowed by nights of Red Bull and regret. Their freezing assets. The house in Tribeca gone. The house bought with my inheritance. I stirred my coffee. Bloskas my muet. Tough break. Remember when you mocked my tips? Said I was serving karma? He flinched. That was banter. Family shit.
Bull.
I'd replayed those diner scenes in my nightmares, the way he'd tip $1 on a 20, winking at the busboy like we were in on the joke. Banter gets bullets.
Ethan.
You know that. His head snapped up. What the hell does that mean? I smiled.
Cryptic.
Means watch your back. The real heat came midterms. IRS agents raided Hargrove, badges flashing under TV lights. Ethan's name leaked, junior partner implicated in diversion schemes. He called, sobbing.
Fun.
It's over.
Jail.
Help me fight. Fight? I'd arm him just enough to hang himself. I loaned him $5,000, wired from a clean account, traceable back to a dummy corp I'd set up with Vasquez's guidance. Use it for a lawyer, I said. He did, a shark named Lowell Tate, who billed him dry and flipped for immunity when the feds squeezed. That's when the controversy ignited. Protests outside Hargrove. Occupy Wall Street 2.0. Kids with signs screaming, "Eat the rich." I marched anonymously, hoodie up, chanting with the crowd. But inside, it gnawed. Was this justice or just vengeance? Dad's letter haunted me. Protect it, Finley. For the family. Ethan was family, twisted as a pretzel in the city that baked them. Late nights, I'd pace my tiny apartment. The fortunes glow on my laptop screen, a siren's call. I'd claimed half, $23 million, parked in ethical funds, scholarships in Mom's name. The rest? Ethan's noose. Twist one hit like a sucker punch. Ricky Malone. Marcus flagged a burner ping. Ricky. Out on bail for unrelated beef. Sniffing around Queens. For me? No. The house.
Ethan.
Cornered rat. Sicking his fixer on loose ends. I spotted the tail first. Black sedan idling outside my bodega run. Tinted windows hiding a familiar scowl. Heart racing. I ducked into the subway, emerging in Brooklyn to lose him. That night, I filed a restraining order, exaggerated claims of harassment, backed by Marcus's logs. Cops hauled Ricky in, under pressure.
He sang.
Not about the alley, that was future ghosts, but about Ethan's pest jobs, intimidation gigs on whistleblowers. The headlines exploded. Wall Street scions thug ties expose. Ethan's face, pixelated mugshot style, plastered on the post. Calls flooded my phone, reporters. Vasquez. Even Herb from the bank. Finley, this you're doing? I denied. All innocence. But inside, ecstasy. Tainted. Protests turned ugly. Riots at Zuccotti Park Redux. Molotovs shattering bank windows. Critics screamed vigilantism. Pundits decried sibling sabotage. I watched from a bar stool, nursing a whiskey, wondering if I'd crossed into monster territory. Ethan confronted me at the NYU library, storming in like a nor'easter. You bitch, he hissed, slamming a folder on the study table, printouts of my tips. IP traces Marcus had scrubbed, but not perfectly. Students gawked, security hovered. This ends now. I didn't flinch. Ends? You started it. Stealing from graves. His fist clenched. I saw the boy again. The one who'd bandaged my knee after a bike crash. I did it for us. Dad's mess would have gotten us killed. Creditors. Rivals. I cleaned it up. Lie or truth. The crash files I'd pulled whispered otherwise. No threats. Just paranoia. We grappled. Words first. Then shoves. He grabbed my collar. I kneed his thigh. Old self-defense from diner shifts. Security dragged him out. Bans filed. But his parting shot lingered. You're no better.
Fun.
That script? Fake as your moral high ground. He knew. Somehow, the smoke cleared. The panic spiked. Had he hacked back?
No.
Intuition. Brother's curse. I doubled down. With Vasquez, I testified anonymously to the SEC. Deposition masked. Voice distorted. Details poured. Account numbers. Transfer dates. Ethan's sign-offs. The fortune unraveled. Frozen. Seized. Headlines howling. Harper heist. $47 million fraud. Ethan lawyered up. Countersuing for defamation. Claiming I was the grifter. Forging Dad's will. Controversy peaked. Op-ed split. Vengeful sister or heroic avenger? Fox called me a radical enabler. CNN a beacon for the 99%. My face stayed hidden. But the weight crushed, sleep fractured. Dreams of the alley bleeding into lectures. Thanksgiving Redux. Alone in Queens. Pie cooling on the sill. I got the call.
Ethan.
From Rikers.
Fine.
It's Ricky. He flipped on the hit. My blood iced. The future leaked. My death. Confessed in a plea deal.
Why?
I whispered. His voice broke. You were gonna expose it all. I panicked. God. I'm sorry. Sorry? Too late for epitaphs. But the twist deepened. Dad knew. The crash, he suspected me skimming small stuff. That's why the letter to you. He was cutting me out. Betrayal squared. Dad's ghost pitting us. Ethan's greed a self-fulfilling curse. I hung up, staring at the pie. Justice or tragedy? The line blurred. American as apple. Pumpkin pie. Protests raged outside. I joined. Sign reading family first. Irony bit deep. Ethan's trial loomed.
But mine?
The court of public opinion, where I'd stand judge and jury. Winter break brought blizzards, burying the city in white lies. I holed up, compiling the final dossier, every sin, every sorry. Vasquez warned. This could destroy you too. Finley.
Destroy?
I'd already died once. What was left to lose? The trial was a circus. Manhattan Supreme Court a big top under January's gray pall. Snow flurried outside, blanketing the steps where protesters chanted, half for Ethan's head, half to crying witch hunts. I slipped in back row, anonymous. Scarf high, notebook in lap. Not as victim, yet, but witness in waiting. The judge. A stern woman named Harlan with silver hair and sharper eyes. Banged the gavel like a death knell. People versus Ethan Harper. Wire fraud. Embezzlement. Conspiracy. Ethan looked small in the dock. Orange jumpsuit clashing with his pallor. No suit to armor him. His lawyer. Tate the flipper, paced, spinning yarns of youthful indiscretion. But the feds brought the hammer. Ledgers projected on screens. Dad's USB, seized from my tip, blooming like damning flowers. The defendant siphoned $47 million from family trusts, the prosecutor droned, leaving his sister penniless while funding a lifestyle of excess.
Sister.
My cue loomed. They'd subpoenaed me weeks prior. Hostile witness. Tate called it. Vasquez prepped me. Stick to facts. No emotion. Facts? They were knives. I took the stand mid-morning. Lights hot as interrogation lamps. State your name. Finley Harper. Gasps rippled. The Avenger sister. Unmasked. Cameras flashed. Harlan glared. Order. Tate approached. Oily. MS. Harper. You claim your brother stole your inheritance. Yet you waited years to act. Why?
Trap.
In my first life, fear choked me. Now, truth freed. Because family blinds you, Mr.
Tate.
Ethan was my rock until he pushed me off the cliff. Murmurs. He pressed. And this script deal? A fabrication to extort him. I met his eyes.
No.
But if it was, would you blame me? After he mocked me as diner trash while pocketing millions meant for us both. The courtroom erupted, protesters outside chanting my name now.
Finley. Finley.
Ethan stared.
Hollow.
Cross done. The prosecutor handed me the USB printouts. MS. Harper. Did your father intend this for you? I nodded. Voice steady. He wrote it for me. Warned me about ambition unchecked. Objection sustained. But the seed rooted. Recess hit. I bolted to the bathroom. Retching bile and old ghosts. Mirror me looked wrecked. Eyes shadowed. but fierce. This was the controversy's core, not just fraud, but fratricide of the American dream. Pundits outside screamed sibling showdown, greed versus grit, cable news pitting my Waitress past against his penthouse fall. Social media boiled, Harper heist trending, memes of me in an apron wielding a gavel. Empowerment or exploitation? I scrolled in the stall, heart pounding. One tweet gutted, Finley's no hero, she's a calculated climber. Using family blood for clout. Back in. The bombs dropped. Ricky Malone, in witness protection chic, testified, Harper paid me 10 grand to handle his sister, intimidate.
Then.
Escalate. The alley flashed rain. Recoil. Regret. Jury gasped. Ethan buried his face. Escalate to what? Prosecutor pressed. Murder, Ricky rasped. Chaos screams. Harlan's gavel cracking like thunder. Mistrial whispers. Ethan lunged at Ricky, tackled by bailiffs. I slipped out, air crisp with justice's bite. That night, alone in my Williamsburg walk-up, the fortunes weight crushed. I'd wired the recovered millions to charities, half to whistleblower funds, half to Queen's scholarships in Mom's name. No yacht for me, just security, the kind money buys quiet. But sleep evaded, dreams twisting, Ethan's plea, Dad's letter, my blood on pavement. Was revenge rebirth or recursion? Twist 2 blindsided at dawn, a knock.
Urgent.
FBI Agent Reyes. Badge gleaming. MS. Harper. We need to talk. Your tips. They're airtight. But there's more. Coffee at a diner, irony thick. He slid a file. Dad's crash, not accident. Brake lines cut. Trucker framed. Your father was testifying against Hargrove Brass. Someone wanted him silenced.
Ethan?
No. Logs cleared him. Deeper, the firm's senior partner. Harlan's husband?
No.
Harlan was clean. The ghost? Uncle Ray. Dad's brother. A estranged investor who'd co-signed the shells. Uncle Ray, the wild card I'd forgotten. Holiday cards signed with false cheer. Visits cut short after Dad's secrets. In my first life. He'd vanished post-crash. Presumed broke. Now, Marcus Doug. Ray in Miami. Laundering Hargrove runoff through casinos. And Ethan? Not the mastermind, pawn. Ray had groomed him, promising the family way, feeding his greed while puppeteering the thefts. The hit? Ray's order. Ethan too weak to refuse. Rage redirected. A phoenix from ashes. I confronted Ethan in holding, glass partition. Phones crackling. Uncle Ray, I said. No hello. His eyes widened.
Fine.
He lied to me. Said it was all above board. Tears now.
Real.
I was protecting you from him. Lie or absolution? By killing me? He crumpled. I called it off. Ricky went rogue. Partial truth, the future shifted, but intense guard. I walked out. Snow melting to slush underfoot. The trial reconvened. Ethan's plea, guilty. Reduced for cooperation. Ray extradited. Headlines shifting. Uncle unmasked. Deeper fraud web. Controversy swirled. Was Ethan villain or victim? I dodged mics. But one reporter cornered. MS. Harper. Forgiveness. I paused. City roaring. Forgiveness is for the forgiven. Justice? That's for all of us. Spring bloomed amid the fallout. NYU graduation. Cap and gown. Vasquez's hug fierce. Proud. Kid. The fortune secured. I founded a nonprofit, Harper Watch, aiding fraud victims. Protests faded, but the scar remained. Family, fractured forever. Ethan's sentencing loomed, 10 years. Minimum. I visited once more. No pity. Write me from inside, I said. He nodded.
Broken.
I should have been the waitress. You, the star. Maybe. Rebirth's gift, choosing your role. But the tension coiled. Ray's trial next. Tendrils reaching. I prepped. Notebook ready. The game's not over. It's American. Endless sequels. Summer scorched in. The city of Furnace forging final reckonings. Ray's trial was Ray's reckoning, a spectacle in federal court. Miami heat seeping through AC vents like guilt. I flew down coach. Notebook in carry-on. The fortune's quiet hum in my veins a reminder. This ended with me standing. Protesters thinner here, snowbirds in flip-flops. Signs wilted, but the stakes? Sky high. Ray Harper. Silver fox gone to seed. Sat cuffed. Eyes like chipped ice. Uncle who'd sent birthday checks with strings. Now facing life for murder one. Fraud empire. I testified last, star witness. Unmasked fully. The stand felt like a confessional. Wood polished as lies. Raymond Harper groomed my brother, I said, voice echoing. Used family blood to bleed the trusts dry. And when Dad threatened to expose it. Photos flashed, brake lines snipped, trucker coerced. Ray smirked through it. But his lawyer crumbled under cross. Feds had tapes. Ray boasting to cronies. The kid's mine, Ethan.
The fall guy.
Little Finn. Collateral. Jury out 2 hours. Guilty on all. Harlan, no relation. Irony, sentenced him to 50. No parole. May justice be your mirror. Mr. Harper. He spat as they led him away. You Harpers were always weak.
Girly.
Diners and dreams. I met his gaze. Weak? We outlasted you. Flashbulbs popped. I exited to salt air.
Free.
Back in New York. Ethan's appeal hearing was quiet, a plea for leniency. Coupon Ray buying years off. I submitted a letter. Ethan failed us. But Ray forged the chains. Mercy.
For the boy he was.
Judge shaved 2 years. 8 total. Release in 2027. Supervised. He wrote from Otisville. Thanks.
Fun.
Owe you everything. I burned it. Ashes to wind. Debt paid in blood. No ledger balanced that. The fortune? Liquidated ethically, millions seeded into community funds. A foundation named for Mom. O'Hara grants. Lifting waitresses to lawyers. My cut? Modest brownstone in Brooklyn. View of the bridge. And a novel, Alley Echoes. The script, made real. Anonymized but true. Bestseller. Controversy its fuel. Is this vengeance, porn, or catharsis? Debates raged. I smiled on panels. Deflecting with wit. Revenge?
Nah.
Reclamation. Controversy peaked at launch party, rooftop in Soho. Skyline twinkling like absolution. Reporters probed. Regrets. I sipped champagne. Dress black as resolve. Only that it took dying to live. Gasps, laughs. Ethan sent a card. Proud. Break a leg. I did. Meta editor named Lila. Sharp as Vasquez. Sparks over scotch. Life rebooting. Chapters unwritten. But the twist lingered. A shadow at high noon. One autumn eve. Walking the bridge. Phone buzzed unknown. Finley? It's Ricky. Out on good behavior. Voice gravel. Harper, Ray, left a message. From inside. Tell the girl, there's more. The real fortune. Heart stuttered. More? Dad's whispers echoed. It'll set you free. Not just millions, blueprints, patents, a tech stash from his accounting days, whistleblower gold on blockchain fraud.
I dug.
Marcus on speed dial. Buried in Dad's old cloud, accessed via a key Ray never found, a ledger, $200 million in crypto, tied to early Bitcoin mines Dad consulted on. Untouched. Ballooned by time. Ray knew.
Killed for it.
Ethan skimmed the fiat facade, blind to the digital dragon. The revelation hit like lightning. Rebirth tripled. I claimed it quietly. Seeding revolutions. Open source funds for hackers like Marcus. Scholarships exploding. But the controversy exploded anew. Harper heiress hides hundreds of millions? Leaks intentional. I fan flames. Forcing reforms. SEC probes deepened. Wall Street quaked.
Ethan.
Paroled early for model behavior, showed at my door Christmas Eve, older. Humbled. Gray at temples.
Fine.
Heard about the crypto. I let him in. Tree lights twinkling. It's ours. Split. He shook head.
Yours.
I forfeited mine. We talked till dawn. Ghosts exorcised. Laughs tentative. Family. Reforged in fire.
Get to?
Not by kitsch. But Kohow American style. Gritty triumph. I stand on that bridge now. Wind whipping. City below, a beast tamed. Died once. Lived twice.
Brother?
Redeemed. Maybe. Fortune? Weapon for good. And me? Finley Harper. No longer waitress, but weaver of fates. The alley's echo faded to whisper. Rebirth's promise, tomorrow's mind to script.